Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Amy, and I thought for today's video I would just talk about my weight loss journey. I was meaning to do this a lot sooner than I have. I think subconsciously maybe I was deciding whether or not I should wait until I'd completed my weight loss journey or do it now, because I'm not at my goal weight, but the last bit of my weight I'm doing leisurely. I'm just sort of losing it as and when I do. I will get there, but I'm not in as much of a rush as I was to lose the large portion that I did lose over the past year and a half. So my plan for this video is, along this side, if I can work out how to do it, I'll be inserting pictures of before my weight loss journey, during and afterwards now. I don't have a lot of before because I would avoid cameras at all costs beforehand. So if whatever I can find, I will insert, but there's definitely a lot more now and during, because I did get a bit more confident when it came to being in front of a camera. All of my selfies were angles where you hold your hand right up here, and they just didn't portray what was going on behind the camera. So I have I have everything written down on here, just so that I don't repeat myself, talk about the same thing over and over again and forget anything. But I hope that you enjoy this video, and if any of you can relate, or if anyone is going through something similar, then don't give up hope. You've got it, and you're going to get there as and when you need to get there. Don't pressure yourself. You're perfect the way you are anyways. Okay, so I wasn't an overweight younger child. I started putting on weight at the age of 9, up until I was 18 when I reached my breaking point. I was a massive comfort eater. That was my downfall. Food, I just loved food. I still love food, don't get me wrong. Love a good Chinese, but I loved it too much, and I relied on it too much to make me feel good. So the weight started creeping up as I was leaving primary school, starting high school. I was the girl who, as I was putting weight on at like 10 and 11, was trying every single fad diet out there, even at the age of 10 and 11. Weight Watchers, Slim Fast. If a parent or a family member was doing the Slim Fast diet, I would take the shakes, sneak them in my bag and take them to school and have them for lunch at school in year 7. Massively unhealthy. Did not work, obviously. As soon as I decided I'd rather eat a takeaway than carry on with these fad diets, which do work for some people, just didn't work for me. I just didn't have the, I didn't push myself enough. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't think I could do it. I gave up so easy. As soon as I wanted a takeaway rather than another Slim Fast shake, I would have a takeaway and give up. I was the biggest excuse maker you would ever meet. Honestly, looking back, it's mortifying how easily I would give up on something that, now I look back on it, I realise was so detrimental to my health and caused the majority of my self-image issues and my anxiety and my depression and my panic attacks and things that I suffer with now that I have under control. But I think my weight definitely was a massive contributor to those, 100%. It got to a point where in the middle of my teen years, I was gaining weight at a very quick speed, like a dangerously quick speed. I didn't notice it. Well, I mean, that's a lie. I noticed it, but I was if somebody told me that, oh, maybe you should think about being a little bit healthier, I would do the opposite. Just very, very stubborn. Should have listened, got myself into an even bigger problem by the time I had realised. It was a massive situation by the time I actually got my act together and decided that I needed to do something about it. And then by the time I did bother to pay attention and not be in denial about it, I was 18 years old and morbidly obese. At my heaviest weight, I was 26.5 stone at the age of 18 years old. Bear in mind, I'm now 22 years old, and the healthy weight for my height is 12 stone. At 18 years old, I was 26.5 stone, and it was just increasing. It was increasing and increasing, and it scares me now to think where I would be if I hadn't got my act together when I did. Because it would have shortened my lifespan. I'm in no denial about that. So dangerous. The pressure that it was putting on my body, like my visceral fat, was astronomical. It was so dangerous, and I just refused to see it until it had reached a life-changing point, I suppose you could say. It just affected so much of my life. It caused terrible acne. Didn't start until I was 16, when I was putting on astronomical amounts of weight in small periods of time. Yeah, my acne was absolutely terrible. My joints couldn't physically support my body without creaking. I would walk up the stairs and it would sound like my knees had maracas in them. They would click so much. It was dangerous. My legs could not support the weight that I was putting on them, and it was damaging my joints. I couldn't walk up the stairs without having to stop to catch my breath. I have 2 staircases in my house. To get to the top would have actually been terrible. Like, it's disgusting to think about it now, but it would have been. I had to get clothes at different shops to all of my friends. All of my friends were smaller. I was the biggest and the tallest out of my friendship group, and having to go and get clothes from shops that tailored specifically to plus size women. At that time, I still get some now, even though I don't have to, but at that time, when that was my only option and all of my friends were getting clothes from like H&M and Primark and things, it did really affect my self-confidence. Also, my self-confidence is something that I would ignore. I would just be like, oh, well, I have low self-confidence, doesn't everyone? And I would just let it affect me, and it would simmer and simmer and simmer, but I would push it down, decompartmentalize it, push it to the back of my brain, and it wouldn't even be something that I would focus on. I would just think it was normal for me to feel the way that I felt about myself. My life was under threat by something that I had over a period of time allowed to happen. I had never gotten it under control when it would have been easier for me to do so. It just sort of reached a breaking point, and something just snapped, and it was just like, it's now or never. It's now or you ruin your life forever. Those are your 2 options, Amy. So pick one. My current weight is 16 stone. I have lost about 10.5 stone altogether. I fluctuate now between 16 and 17 stone. Because I'm maintaining currently, I'm not on like a very strict journey to lose the rest of the weight that I need to lose. I'm just losing it gradually. I will get to my goal, but I do not want to put a lot of pressure on myself, because throughout my weight loss journey, from time to time, I did put too much pressure on myself. For me personally, there is no way I'd have achieved what I had if I hadn't had such a strong figure involved that really didn't put up with any of my rubbish or any of my excuses. I was so lucky to have this person who is my uncle. He just wanted the best for me. He's always wanted the best for me. He's a very strong character, and I genuinely did need somebody that had such a strong character that just wouldn't take any of my rubbish and wouldn't allow me to disappoint myself again and again and again, and to just give up on myself so easily. It just wasn't an option with him. He didn't let that happen, and I will always be grateful to him for helping me change my life and being the push that I did need, because if it wasn't for him, I would still be making excuses now, and I don't know where I would be. I wouldn't have the life that I have now, and I know that for a fact. So I got to a point where I realised I was 26.5 stone. I had to do something about it. I was at the doctor's appointment for yet another appointment regarding something to do with my body that my weight was damaging. So I went for my appointment. I came out, my uncle was sat there in the waiting room for something completely unrelated, and it was just as simple as it started off by arranging to go and meet and have a cup of tea at his house, because I'd always said to him I would like some help with weight loss, but then I'd never ever gone forward with it. I'd never done anything about it to make it happen. So it literally was just, I'll come for a cup of tea and we'll chat about things. We had a little chat about him possibly helping me lose a bit of weight. We didn't specify a time frame that this would be done by. We didn't specify how much I had to lose per week. It was just, if I had a loss, be it £1, be it £2, £3, so on, I was a pound closer to my goal weight. And when you think about how big a pound of fat is, it's crazy to think that that is out of your body. Every time you lose a pound, that amount of fat is gone from your body, be it from your appearance on the outside or visceral fat. It's gone and you're 1 pound closer. Now, I need to stress that I didn't lose weight for my image. I have self-image issues now, and I would have self-image issues if I was 12 stone at my goal. I lost my weight for health. If you are a plus size person and you are happy and you are content, that's all you need. That's all you need. If I could have been happy and healthy at my weight before, that would have been fine. But I wasn't happy and I definitely wasn't healthy. So mine was a life-changing situation that I needed to do to live a long life, basically. I just need to stress that it's nothing to do with you have to lose weight to look better. That's absolute rubbish, because I'm still plus size now. I feel a lot better about myself. I'm not where I need to be yet, but I'm a lot happier. I just personally wasn't happy and wasn't healthy at that size. We decided that every week, me and my uncle, without fail, I would go to his house, same day, same time, and we would weigh and we would just note down measurements and weight. And then every month, once a month, we would do my measurements, and then once a week we would just weigh on the scales. When I stood on the scales at 26.5 stone at 18 years old, personally it was just embarrassment, because I was doing it in front of somebody, and I was a very secret person, didn't like to talk about my weight. If my weight was brought up, I would eat to make myself feel better, and it would be a vicious cycle. So I just personally was very, very embarrassed. Even at this point, I had no hope for myself. I didn't think I would do it. I thought that it was just going to be another thing where I would try and fail, if that makes sense. It was never going to be something that I would actually succeed in. It was just going to be another failed attempt. And I got so used to telling myself that, and so used to putting myself down about it, that I thought that was it. I thought there was no other option, especially not an option to have been able to achieve what I have achieved now over the past 2 years. I was ashamed. I really just didn't think that I could shift it. I felt like I was in a hole and that was my life. I deserved to sort of be here because I was eating so much. It was my own fault. I was never going to be like my friends. I was never going to be as confident as them. Just all the things, all the self-conscious and self-image damaging things that you could think of for yourself is what I thought. The first couple of months I just made slight changes. My diet was absolutely ludicrous for an 18-year-old. I ate far too much, far too many calories and far too big portions. So over the first couple of months I made slight changes, smaller portions, controlling what I ate, like just making healthier options, healthier choices. And I didn't even exercise. I would go on the odd walk with my uncle, but it wasn't like strict exercise regime, strict food regime. I did things in my own speed so that I wouldn't feel overwhelmed, because I get overwhelmed very easily. I didn't want to let myself fail. Even that made a huge difference to my calorie consumption, and the weight was falling off. For the first few months, I was losing 7-8 pounds a week, which is very, very fast, and not what you should expect from weight loss, because it isn't like that for me now. But it was like that for me at the beginning. I had so much to shift, so my body was just grateful to be getting some form of healthy food in it, and just some self-care. I'd never cared about my body, and I was finally giving it some self-care, and I think it was just overexcited. I think seeing the number on the scales drop so quickly was my main motivation. I had the thoughts in my head of, in the future, being able to buy clothes from different shops, being able to go out with my friends without feeling so self-conscious, being able to go for meals without feeling weird, because I would always buy like a salad. I would go for meals with my friends and buy a salad, and everyone looks at you like, I know you don't eat a salad at home, but for some reason that's the only thing that I could eat comfortably in front of other people, because everyone in my head was looking at me thinking, oh, the fat girl, she needs, like, why is she eating a salad? She's putting on a show. But still, I just had to. They were just very uncomfortable situations, so I just didn't put myself in them a lot. So therefore wasn't having a good social life with my friends, therefore lost contact with a lot of my good friends who luckily I found contact with now since I grew some self-confidence. As time went on and I implemented more changes into my lifestyle and more calorie controls, the diet numbers, the numbers on the scale evened out to between 1 and 3 pounds a week for about 9 to 12 months. And sometimes if I had a very, very good week, it would be 6 or 7 again. And as I wrote down all of these numbers and I saw them adding up and I saw the number on the scales going down and I felt my clothes getting looser and I felt the joy that I felt picking out clothes from shops that were clothes sizes smaller, I think that definitely just had me on a roll, and I knew where I was going and I knew that I was going to get there no matter what. I wasn't going to let myself stop until I'd got to where I needed to be. I suffer from body dysmorphia, and this really doesn't help the situation at all, because regardless sometimes of, I'd have a 7 pound loss that week and I would look in the mirror and I'd be adamant that the scales were lying and I'd put on like half a stone, because I would genuinely see in the mirror something that people were seeing completely differently in the real world, and my brain just convinced myself that my body did not look the way that it actually did, which I have and I'm still trying to get under control, because it does affect my mental health, my self-image, everything. It's quite a difficult thing to deal with, especially when you're going through such a life-altering thing as a massive amount of weight loss. Seeing something different in the mirror to everyone else made it so much harder and almost reiterated to me that I mustn't be doing well enough, when in fact I was doing really well. But because I saw the image in the mirror, I thought I needed to work harder, I needed to eat less, I needed to calorie count more, I needed to exercise more, and for a short period of time, it became an obsession to me. It did. I went from one extreme to the other. Finally being able to do something that I'd wanted to do for so long made it so important, and it did become slightly unhealthy at some points. Some weeks I would have a bowl of cereal and that would be my only calories for the day. And some weeks, the day before weigh-in, I wouldn't eat. I would have water. And then I would go to bed really early so that I didn't eat dinner. That is so unhealthy, and it stunted my weight loss. I thought I looked better in the mirror. I didn't. It stunted and I stayed the same. Your body needs calories to burn, else it's going to hold on to the fat that you already have. And I just became unhealthily obsessed with the fact that eating less means that you'll lose it. It just wasn't the case for me, and it took me a while to get out of that mindset and get back to a healthy one when my family started noticing that I wasn't consuming enough calories, and it was just becoming from one extreme to the other, and I needed to balance myself out. Luckily for me, I managed to force my mindset to change after a short period of time, seeing things like my body being able to function better without as much strain, less joint pain, healthier ovulation cycles, until they became completely normal, when prior they had either just not shown up or they'd been weeks late, and having clearer skin. It helped, but I am still working on the right balance, which is definitely going to be a lifelong thing. Maintaining is going to be something that I'm going to have to continue throughout my whole life. It's never going to be something that I can stop and just expect it to maintain on itself. I put on weight very easily and I don't lose it as easily as I gain it. So I do need to be careful with myself, because there is no way in hell that I would let myself get back to a point where I was that unhealthy and that unhappy, I suppose. I still have a little way to go to reach my goal. I want to get to 13 stone, so I have 3 stone left until I reach my goal. But I'm so much healthier and happier. As I said, I'm not at my goal, but compared to how I was before, my happiness level was barely even like seeable back then. It didn't even exist. So now the change, it is drastic. It's not where I want to be, but it is drastic. It really, really is. Once I get to the goal weight, which is healthy for my body type, not just a random number that I've chosen, I have done my research and I have found a weight that is healthy for my height, because I am a tall girl, I'm 5'10", and for just me in general, something, just a healthy BMI. I'm not trying to go ridiculous, because I just don't think it would suit my frame. I'm quite a wide-hipped girl, so I don't want to be too small, because then I will be unhealthy from the other scale, and I don't want to do that. The only big thing, as I said before, will be making my healthy eating journey become a normal part of my day-to-day life for the foreseeable future. In no way do I not allow myself to have treats. If I want to go out with my friends with drinks, I will go out with my friends with drinks. If I want to have a takeaway with my boyfriend, I will have one. I will just make sure that the next day, maybe I'll compromise. Maybe instead of having a snack or a treat the next day too, I'll cut that out and then just have the odd treat every now and then, and find treats that I enjoy that are healthy. Like, I didn't believe that they were possible. I thought you had to have a chocolate bar or a bag of crisps, and if you enjoyed it because it was unhealthy, it was a treat. But I found things like alternatives and things like that that really, really are just as delicious and are not doing as much damage to your body at all. Also, which I had to get used to and took a long time. And I do still crave the old bag of crisps or some nachos or a chocolate bar, and I have it. And I don't make myself feel bad about it, which I did used to do at the beginning of my weight loss journey. Also, I would make myself feel bad for treating myself. I'm human, and I've lived my whole life with an unhealthy lifestyle that when I changed it so drastically, I shouldn't have made myself feel as bad as I did about having a chocolate bar, but I did, and it was just something that I had to grow through. And I think that everybody doubts themselves every now and then in whatever they're doing, even if it's not weight loss, anything. I didn't incorporate a crazy amount of exercise. Any exercise that I did when I started was more than I'd done before, so technically it was an improvement. I'd go on long walks with my uncle, as I said. We'd stop for a cup of tea, or we'd look in charity shops or do some shopping in between to break it up so it didn't feel as much of a chore. Because I just used to get bored just walking. So he would always incorporate things to make sure that it was broken up and it didn't seem like we were just going out just to walk. We were going out to have a day, to go for a cup of tea, to have a look in some shops, just to enjoy ourselves as well as incorporating exercise. Just strolls, just basic strolls that would add up to calories being burnt. And you wouldn't even really notice it because you were doing things to keep yourself occupied while you were doing it. It made me so proud that I could do this without literally dying afterwards. Because from not being able to even walk up the stairs without having to stop at the top for a break, to being able to walk a couple of miles, getting home, being puffed out, of course, but not dying, is something inside me. It did make me feel quite proud of myself. And it did just build up the confidence, and the pride that I had in myself did build up. And then that 100% contributed to being able to continue to lose the weight. The best moment was when I reached the 10 stone mark. When you think about, as I said, how big a pound of fat is, I lost 140 pounds of fat. It's crazy thinking about it and realising that I had actually managed to do that when I'd had such little self-hope and self-confidence before. Like a pound of fat probably would sit in my hand like this, and I'd lost 140 of those. Just absolutely baffles me. Even when I'd lost 7, like, I was proud of myself. If you lose 2 pounds, be proud of yourself. If you lose 1 pound, be proud of yourself. If you don't want to lose any weight and you want to step on those scales and be exactly the same, be proud of yourself. It's the self-love that is so important when you're doing things that are going to change your life. I was a girl who never thought she would. No self-confidence, no determination. And I finally did it. I finally believed in myself enough to do it. And I do get emotional when I think about it, because my self-confidence is still so low. But when I think about what it must have been before, it does actually baffle me that I allowed myself to treat myself the way that I did. As I said before, it's a process. It's not an overnight thing. If you trust the process, you'll do it, and you can take however long you want. Nobody can tell you or determine to you how long you have to change your life. It's a lifetime process, and I will not rush. I did not rush. I'm near to where I want to be, so much nearer than I was, and I will continue to make myself proud by maintaining and getting to my goal weight eventually, and then maintaining there. I cannot stress enough that everyone is strong enough to do what they would like to do or what they want to do. Doesn't matter what anybody says to you. You are strong. You are brave. You have inside of you, however deep down you might think it is, you have the determination and you have the power to do something for yourself that will make your life better. You do. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise, because I was bullied a lot in school and everybody told me that I would never be able to do it and I would always be the fat girl. That was just the general comment like you get. And I proved them all wrong, and I didn't do it for them. I did it for myself. But it's just sort of a little bonus to be able to say they were wrong. They were wrong. They didn't know me. They don't know what I am capable of and what I have done. Whatever your weight, if you're happy and content and healthy, like not affecting your actual body health, it's perfect. If I'd have been happy and healthy and content, like I said, I would have stayed where I was, but it was just a personal thing for me to do it for my health and for my self-confidence. My weight held me back and now it doesn't as much, and I'm able to go out with my friends and I'm able to go for meals and go for drinks and wear nice clothes, get clothes at the same shops as my friends. And it's the little things with me that really did push me and help me along my journey, as well as having the most supportive family network around me, which I am very lucky to have. I understand not everybody is lucky enough, but just one person, even if that one person's yourself, because I would not have lost the weight if I didn't believe in myself, as well as everyone around me believing in me. You are the most important person when it comes to your journey. If I've missed anything, because that's pretty much about it, I feel like I've rambled a lot. If I've missed anything or there's anything else you'd be interested in knowing, please either leave a comment or reach out to me on my Instagram, which is always linked down below. Even if it's just to have a little chat, I'm happy to have a chat. I love making friends, the more the merrier. Sometimes venting to a stranger that you know won't judge you is nice, so the offer is always there, and I hope everybody knows that. As I said, this was a personal health reason as to why I lost my weight. I will continue to stress that if you have self-love and you are confident and you are happy and you are content at any weight, be underweight, overweight, do not let anyone else's comments define your happiness or make you change who you are. Okay, that's how it is. I've had comments all my life. I changed who I was for my health, and I still get comments now at the size I am, and I do not let them affect me because I know that I've already come so far. I'm not finished yet, but I'm a hell of a lot further from the start than I was a couple of years ago. And if you want any tips or tricks that personally helped me out, sort of like foods that I ate or ways that I would keep myself distracted from binge eating, or just ways that I would just give myself a little bit more self-love or a bit more self-confidence, then I can do that for you. Please just let me know. And also please feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the like. I would love to have you here. As I said, I'm very sorry that this video took so long. I think I was procrastinating, but I am so glad to have it done now. I am proud of myself from how far I've come. I don't say it to myself a lot, but honestly, I am proud of myself for how far I've come, and I'm excited to get to the end of my journey. And yeah, I hope that everybody has had the best day or the best night, or is having the best day or the best night. And I hope you're all staying safe in this cold December, where I am anyway. And I just hope that you have a lovely week, weekend, whatever you're doing. And I really appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Okay, bye.